Hi friends, today we are going to understand another architecture design pattern called compensating transaction pattern. This pattern has been pegged from Microsoft architecture design patterns website. So before compensating transaction pattern, let's try to understand what a transaction is in terms of computer terminology. So if you are trying to do anything, okay, so let's say you have a database in which you are trying to do multiple things. For example, update order, update payment, and then let's try to assume this case only. Then what is going to happen in this case if you are executing this in a transaction? Speaking from database perspective, what is going to happen is either all of this operation is going to happen or this whole transaction is going to be rolled back. So either update order and update payment are going to be executed, and if in any step you face any error, then it is database's responsibility to revert the whole process. So if it was a multi-leg journey, so like you are updating something, then you are inserting something, then you are updating something, and then you are doing something. So this is your transaction in which you are doing multiple things. So if this transaction is failed due to any reason, then all of the things that were done in this transaction are going to be reverted. Now, this type of operation where all or nothing is ensured is far easier to execute in a single data store or a single application. But when your application is distributed geographically at multiple places, or if it is not even geographically, if it is located on different instances or servers, then executing a transaction so that all or nothing type of behavior is achieved is very difficult problem. And the consistency provided by a transaction is called transactional consistency. And it is a difficult thing to solve in a distributed systems. So in distributed system, your behavior is not going to be like you are doing all the operations in a single database, or you're doing all the operations at a single place. In distributed services, what you're going to do is different components are going to handle different operations. For example, there are multiple services. Some is doing something, then another service is doing something, then another service is doing something, and then another service is doing something. So this in distributed transactions, different services are doing different portions of work. So S1 is doing something, then S2 picks something, then S3, then S4. And if this operation has to be reverted, then the service which was doing this work has to provide an operation to revert this work. So for example, if it was flight booking and this was the flights team and this was hotel booking and this was done by hotels team, and this was maybe taxi booking provided by taxi team, and this was maybe again S1, and this was reverse flight booking. So in this case, you can see multiple services are providing operations for your single journey in which you are first booking a flight, then booking a hotel room, then booking a taxi, and then again booking a flight. So if all of this is part of a single journey, then if you want to book a flight and if any of the steps fails, what are you going to do? For example, let's say your taxi booking fails due to some reason. How are you going to handle this scenario? In this scenario, one of the ways to handle is you may have to revert the hotel booking and then you will have to revert the flight booking. That is also possible. Another possibility is you can retry the taxi booking. You can retry the taxi booking from some other provider also. So it depends on the business logic that you're trying to execute, whether you want a retry mechanisms or not. The retry mechanisms are generally present, but let's say let's consider a scenario in which we have to revert the hotel booking. So service S2 or hotels team should provide an API or should provide an operation to revert the actual operation. And similarly, flights team should provide an operation to revert the flight booking. In this case, revert operation is going to be cancel hotel room, cancel room booking, and it is going to be cancel flight booking. And they may or may not be needed in serial fashion in the reverse journey. So these are called compensating transactions. If, for example, you're doing some work and the work fails or you have to roll back that work, then you need to reverse that work in similar or in parallel order, and this type of revert of your work is called compensating transaction. You're compensating for the work that you've already done. For example, if this was done, if this was failed, then you have to rebook this, cancel this, and then do a compensating transaction on this, and then do a compensating transaction on this. One thing that we have to keep in mind when we are learning compensating transaction pattern is in databases, what generally happens is you are changing values of some row in a transaction, and when you are trying to reverse that transaction, all you have to do is you have to revert the changes or execute the changes in revert order. So for example, if you had updated value from 2 to 4 and then in some other place you had updated 10 to 12. So when this transaction or this operation failed, all you had to do was execute a revert transaction 4 to 2. This is a simplified explanation for the database operation. But when in service-oriented architectures or in distributed systems, this is not the case, because the work done by multiple systems can be handled concurrently via requests, and they can be concurrently handled via other mechanisms. So instead of just plain data stored level reversion of your work, you have to revert the business logic that has been implemented so that it is an intelligent process. For example, if during the forward journey what happened was this was done and at this step it failed. So what are you going to do? You have to revert the steps taken by this and steps taken by this. But let's assume that when you were reverting this step failed, or rather let's assume that reversion of this was done, but during reversion of this step it failed. What are you going to do? Because your forward journey failed as well as your reverse journey also failed. So you have to create your transactions, you have to create your work in such a way that they are idempotent. So by idempotent, I mean that when we come to know that this work has been failed, what we have to do is either we can keep a state of the progress of our reversion process, or we can just start the compensating transaction or start the reverse journey from the point we have knowledge of. For example, we know that this step was failed and we can just again do compensating transaction in the reverse order. Then we already know that our processes or our operations are idempotent. So doing a reversion of this process is not going to have any negative impact, and this is what it was already done. And when the compensating or reverse transaction happens for this process, now it can either run or it can either fail. It depends on whether the error was recoverable or not. So you have to design your service in an idempotent fashion, so that if they are executed multiple times due to retry or due to network loss or anything, they can continue to work in a resilient fashion. One thing that I want to reiterate is, for example, if you have system 1 which is doing something, then system 2, and then system 3, and then system 4 had to do something, but due to some reason, if this fails, or for some reason, if this was also success, but you want to reverse this transaction, for example, user wants to cancel his journey, or you want to cancel the things that have already been completed. So what you're going to do is, you have to understand the business logic that governs your process, and it may or may not allow. If it allows, you can also fire the reverse transactions of all the 4 processes in parallel, 1, 2, 3, 4 in parallel, and they can also be done. And if the business logic says that before cancelling 4, you should cancel 3, so your compensating transaction can also be in form of 3, then 4, then if it says 1 and then 2. There is no foundation in the order in which you have to compensate or you have to revert the work that you have already done. It all depends on the business logic that you're following. And these are all not the exact opposite or revert of the work that you have done. It is the exact reversion of the business logic that was implemented in the step that was done. One more scenario that we have to consider is, for example, if each of the steps that are being done takes some time, and what is going to happen, or how your system is going to behave when this step continues to run forever. For example, this step is running for 1 hour, and it was intended to complete in maybe some milliseconds. Then in this type of systems, that's why it is always recommended to have timeouts. For example, you can have timeouts on the amount of time each operation should take, and if the time exceeds, then you have to consider that either you will retry the request or retry that operation again, and if business logic does not allow retrying that operation, then you can start the reverse transactions according to your business logic. So that is all on the compensating transaction pattern. I hope you enjoyed the video. There have been some ups and downs in this video, I know that. I hope they are improved in the next video that you will see. Let me know your views in comments, how can improve. Thank you and have a nice day.